Hello everyone, welcome back to CSS Learning, and my name is Teza. So like you see on my screen, last week we have learned how to add color, using the CSS. So that will be like, how to add the background color and then the text shadow, that will be repeated shadow, and also the box shadow, that will be inward and outward, and also like repeated linear gradient pattern, and also the radial gradient. And at the end we learn, and also including the blending mode, and at the end we talk about color variable, so that we can quickly change our color theme for our website. So that's what we have learned last week, guys. Make sure to check it out, and also support the channel, subscribe it, share it, and then like it, so that the only way to grow the channel. And so this week I have prepared a lesson content so that we can a little guide, so that will be part 4. So today will be a CSS box model. So we're going to talk about it, how to create a better layout. If learning the CSS box model for our content using the margin, padding, and the border, and also the sizing for our box, so that will be width and height using the pixel and the percentage and other properties and values, because the CSS box has its own property. So that we need to learn, and also different box sizing. So we have content box, border box, and also padding box, margin, and inherit boxes, and the margin and padding collapsing. So that will be if you're competing the same direction for our margin, so that will collapse. And then I'm going to learn about it. And so the other one will be display types. So we have a different a block level element, and the inline element, and also inline block, and also we can do the flex grid, and we're going to learn, and also margin and padding for our span and other inline elements. And that's also, we need to talk about it. And the dev tool, so every browsers, so let's say I'm using the Firefox right now, so Chrome, Edge, Safari, whatever browser. So we have a dev tool, so to check our CSS box model. So I'm going to show it too. And also the Figma to create a different web layout and design. So Figma is a really top tool, and also it's free. So I'm going to use it, Figma, for today. So that will be my lesson contents. And then so to get started, guys, it's back to my Visual Studio Code. So like I said, so how we can check the box in our CSS. So I said that everything is a box. So to see the box in CSS, to quickly illustrate it, what I can do is press Shift and H, so that will be getting asterisk in your a keyboard, so that way, and also calibrate to select it, and that will be, if you want to see the box, simply we can add a border. So that will be a border and 2 pixels and solid, and also that will be red. Once you save it, now you're gonna see everything is a box. So welcome to CSS become a box, and also the YouTube becomes a box. And so part 1, and also so you can see that even in my learn more, I have a little box, and also I have a bigger box that is wrapping, and also X. So because so the so we have started HTML as our basic, as our backbone. Imagine that you have this land and then your property, so that you're gonna build your house. It's the same thing. Element in HTML is the ground that we bring into the browser, and then also now a browser is asking CSS to render it. So CSS has its own way to build things. So we have a CSS selectors, we have a CSS color. Now we have a box. CSS break it down every HTML element to be boxes. So, and also like you see on my dialog box, I have this example, so the learn more has its own box. Because learn more, this text is like a button element, it's wrapping, and also this button is wrapped by the form parent element. So that's why form is a one big box, and learn more wrapped by the button. So that's why button is a one more box. That's why you're seeing a double box, So, and so the X icon is the same thing, X as its own like a button box, and also like a form like the red boxes wrapping. So that's why I'm seeing like a double, and not only the double, I mean like all the triple, I mean, so the boxes after boxes. So that's how CSS is like a break it down. I mean, like to style. I mean, like it's the same thing for all the like a website, you know. So CSS is gonna be a box. I mean, like, so that's how we can like quickly check like a CSS box. And like I mean to break it down, you know. So I will remove my like a styling. I mean, like, so we do not need it. So, and also I want to show you like I mean like, so for my web, I mean like, so we have learning all the basic things. So I mean like, so let me close my dialog box for now. So what I see is I mean like, so like now a little bit like a small screen is like seems to be correct. I mean like, so left alignment is not really bad, but if I make it really big screen, I mean my website is really out. I mean like, so it's all cutting to the left, and then I mean it should be like a center presenting, you know. So it's not the good layout for me. I mean right now, so everything cut, and also the form are really big, and then all the way to the end. So that's I mean like the wrong like a layout. And also if you visit to the Amazon.com, I mean so if you visit it, let's say, I mean everything stay at the center, like even like its own like a group. So all these are the boxes. If you scroll it down, I mean so now we have a little bit picture here, and also all the way down. So we have this like I mean a comment and everything. So that will be linked. So these are like a center alignment. That's a much more pleasing like I mean so for your eyes, you know, and also like easy for like a UI UX. So and also like AWS.com, I want to talk about it. So that will be like I mean like all the cards are align it, like even you have this left alignment and all the boxes. So these are like keeping in the center, so that you have a better UI UX like a design, like I mean like presenting. So like back to my web is I mean my design is not really out. I mean it's not like a center. So now we need to shift all my HTML like an element to the center. So, I mean, how we can move it to the center. So that's why, I mean, we need to talk about the box model. I mean, the CSS box is the only way to bring everything to the center. So to get started, I mean, like before I do anything, I want to show you one illustration. So let me bring up the Figma. So imagine that I have a living room, and then I have one photo. So by the way, that's my wife and my son, guys. I mean, so they are currently living in Miami. So, and also let's say I want to hang this photo into my wall. I mean, so now it's the same like I mean in the real wall. So I'm gonna start adding one photo frame, and then I will add my like the real photo inside the photo frame. So to draw a photo frame or a box in Figma, so go to your rectangle tool at the bottom here. So you just click it, and then click and drag it, so that you're gonna have a one rectangle box. But for us, that will be our photo frame. And also photo frame, so if you want to change a color, go to the right corner here. So I mean in Figma we say fill, so click on that icon and then click the color. So to me, I will choose a little bit yellow, and I'm gonna edit one more like a frame border as well. So to add the frame border in Figma, so to do that, so at the bottom we have this stroke tab. So click on the plus sign. So and default is a black. I mean if you click on the black, drag it to the top, and now I'm gonna type it like a border width. Well, that will be, I mean in Figma we say like a stroke width, you know, but in CSS that will be border width. So I'm gonna type it like what did we just say, like I mean 30 pixels. So if I enter it now, we have a little bit big stroke. So I mean like, so before we like I mean like hanging our photo frame like exactly at the center, I mean like imagine that if you're not using the Figma, I mean like in the real world, you need to find the right spot that will be center. I mean to get started, so in the first step will be defining your photo frame size. I mean like if you go to the shopping, I mean like what is the photo frame size, so that you need it. I mean if you go back to Amazon, let's say you're ordering the photo frame, I'm trying to type it like a photo frame here. So if I search it, now that's the way to get the photo frame here. I mean, so that's how we gonna, I mean, like, so photo frame has its border, and also it has like I mean, like placing like a little bit padding. So all these we need to learn. I mean, so it's the same in my Figma. So now, so the first step is I need to define my photo frame size. So to define the size in Figma, you go to this layout tab and you just type it like your width and height. So to me, I mean, like I'm gonna type it, what if we just say like a 700? So that way, and also I think that will be like 750, and also the like I mean the height will be, what if we just say like a 600? So that will be my, let's say that's for instance, you know, so that will be my photo frame size. And also now the second step is like I said, you need a photo frame border. So I added like a 30 pixel. And now finding the right spot that will be center. I mean, to get a center, I mean, Figma is its own like a snapping tool. You know, you can just snap it, and then now you're gonna have a center. But in the real world, I mean, we cannot snap it, so we have to measure it. So to do the measurement, so I have to cut it, my photo frame, all the way to the right, like an edge. And also I have this gap to like measure it. I mean, so that's the only way to do it. So to draw another box, you just get the like rectangle tool, and then you're gonna drag and click and drag it. So that way you're gonna have this like a gap measurement. So I'm gonna color it too. So that will be a blue color. So here, and I'm gonna have this blue a little bit bright. So that will be my like a gap measurement. So, and also, I mean, like, so in the theory, we call it, that will be a margin. I mean, so that will be margin left or margin right. But for now, we are getting the left or right margin. It doesn't matter. So we are just, this gap, I'm going to cut it into half. So that's going to be our like a center point. So to cut a half into like, I mean, like, so in Figma, you know, but the real thing, I mean, like, if you're really hanging your photo, so you're going to use a calculator to I mean, calculate it. So that will be, I mean, dividing 1976. So there's a width. So you're gonna divide by 2. So like, let me zoom it out so that we will not make a mistake. So really touching to the edge. And also I'm gonna zoom it in. So by the way, if you want to zoom in, I mean, like press Control and Space key so that it will zoom it that way. Now we have it. So like I said, I mean, like to divide by 2, this measurement, in your layout tab again, so go to your width, so you place your cursor, and then also you use it like a divide by 2. I mean, so that's a little bit intelligent in Figma. So if I do that way, I can press enter. Now the measurement will be cut into half, and then I mean, like, so now I can just simply bring my photo frame like a touching to the edge. So that's exactly where we're gonna have it, like a left and right margin. I mean, if you want to see it like to test it out, it's really to the center. I mean, if you test it, you bring, if you want to copy your like a block, I mean the rectangle in Figma, you just press Alt key and then click and drag it. So now you're gonna have a copy it, and now you can measure it like exactly touching to the edge. You know, if you zoom in, I mean, like now you see that to the left and right is the same size. Now we have the center spot, and then we're gonna place it our photo frame. I mean, so once you have a photo frame size, you measure it and you get the center point. I mean, now it's a very simple. I mean, it's the same thing, same concept. What we're gonna do is we just simply bring the photo, I mean, inside our photo frame. So that's it. I mean, so that's not much. It's the same concept. If you really want to measure it to the center, I'm going to measure it again here, and then I'm going to cut it into half. But for now, I mean, like, so for time purpose, you know, so it's the same concept. You're going to get it like, I mean, like, so into the center. So it is the same way in my CSS. I mean, like, what I'm going to do is, let's say, I mean, back to my CSS, what I can do is all the like element, you know, to my browser. I mean, so my welcome to CSS, starting from the like a heading all the way to the bottom, like a creative learner, the copyright thing. I'm gonna create one big box that will enough to fit my like box, and then I will bring all the element inside that box, and then I will move it to the center. It's like a photo frame. It's the same concept. So I'm gonna create one big box first. I'm gonna find it the like a left and right margin, and then I'm gonna place it all the H1 element, P element, all the video element inside this like a frame, and then I'm gonna send it to the center. So that's a concept to start it out. So to do that, I mean like in CSS, what we can do is so we need to like get the selection first. I mean like right now, we do not have a box that is like already wrap everything in my HTML, because like I said, every time we have to go back to our HTML to structure it, so now, so it's the first step. What I'm gonna do is like a photo frame. I'm gonna add one big box. So to do that, I'm gonna add one div. So that will be a div element. If I press tab key, you're gonna have an opening and closing div. A div is the only way to add it at the top, because you might think, hey, why not we add the article? Why not we add the header, or why not we add the main? So that's a semantic point of view. So the article should not be the top, so article will be at the middle, main at the middle. So that's why now I'm using the div as a generic. It's it has like no semantic meaning. So now we can start adding one container div. So that will be opening and closing div. If I cut it, the closing div all the way to the bottom, so that will be here before the body. So that's wrapping everything. If I place it here, now my div is wrapping. If I save it, so and then now you have already like started adding one div. But like right now, we do not have. We can like do the selecting the div. It will not be like the proper way to do it, So let's say we have learned a previous tutorial, we have like a different way to select it, different selector. So we have an ID, we have combinations, we have like a selector for our class. So I think I will create one class for our container. So to do that, just add one class attribute here. So that will be, what if we just say like XXL, that is like a double large, so that will be that. I'm gonna say like a container. So so that will be a container. So if I save it, so now everything set it up. So like a div is wrapping like everything, and also we have a one class attribute added, that will be XXL container. So now I can go back to my CSS. So now what we're gonna do is we can like simply like add like a selector. So that will be start with the dot. So that will be just now we give it like a XXL and then dash container. So that will be container. So if I select it, now we can start styling. It's like I said, everything is a box. So if you want to test it out, so if I test it out, let's say if I test it like a border, so what if we just say like a border will be same thing, what if a little bit big pixels, so that would 20 pixels, and then like a solid, if I put it like a red. So if I save it, so now you're gonna start seeing my red box, it started appearing at the center. If you big it, so now like you start seeing that you have this big container is wrapping everything. So now like so it's a really big that so now the other problem is how we gonna move it our element to the center, because I just added one like a border property, and then now it's showing. But the point, our goal is adding everything into the box, and then we need to shift it to the center. So to do that, the next step is now I want to show you the box so that I added a border, So the first step, like a photo frame concept. So what we need to define is it's the same like a concept, We need to define our width and height for our photo frame. So to do that, so back to my CSS, what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit width. So it's the same in English word. So you just type it width, width. So that's a CSS. The sizing, width. So now I'm going to say like I said, in the lesson content, we have a percentage, we have a pixels, So I will start with the pixel. So now, so you have to think about it. If you're not defining, so CSS is automatically like creating one big box. There's no size and everything. It just went all the screen. And then imagine that, let's say you have like a different screen size, like I said, so we have an Apple, we have a tablet, we have an iPhone. So, and also like if you're using the desktop, so we have a different like Samsung TV screen sizes. So how can we like define the width that will be big enough? So there's a CSS properties that we have to learn. So that will be future tutorial. So for now, I want to create one like a presentation box, so that will be for this tutorial. So that will be I'm gonna set it 1200 pixel for now. I have this desktop screen, so that's why I will set it 1200 pixel for now. So once I save it, so that will be my so the width size. If I go back to my browser now, you see that just now is that the whole width is stretching. Now 1200 pixel this is my red box. So now I have already defined it. And also you can see that dialog box is not included in the box. So the other thing in the a box model dialog is not fitting. So that's why for this tutorial I will close my dialog box, so that the future we're gonna have a different pop-up box a technique, So for now we will focus on our box. So now I have defined my box to be a 1200 pixel. So everything is a fitting. It's a really big enough for our H1, H2 video and every element. And also it's a big enough for our screen as well. It's not it's going all the way to the edge, So it's a little bit a smaller box that we can shift it to the center. So the next step is a photo frame. It's the same concept. We need to find the margin that will be creating our center spot. So to do that, what we can do is in CSS. So the next step will be, and also so I forgot to add the height too. I can ignore the height, but the the browser, the CSS, the HTML, all these are intelligent, so these are the computer thing. So that's why they are defining automatically. So the height is big enough to fit our content. But in actual world, so you need to say something. You cannot leave it blank. So to do the height, so I can define it. So if you know the height, so in the a photo frame, so you can type it let's say, what if we just say 5,000 height. So to do that, if I say pixel, if I save it, so if I go back to my browser, if you scroll it all the way up, it's already fitting. And then if I scroll it down, so so 5,000 is a little big enough. But like I said, so the real world, so we're gonna have more scrolling, So if you go back to the Amazon, so you have to scroll it all the so you do not know how to design your so the real thing, So you do not know how long it is. So one video, two video, and also the comment and everything, so you cannot predict it. So that's why so instead of so the fixing your value in your height, so the width is we can define it, the fixed value, 1200, because like I said, so for now we're gonna fix it to 1200 pixel. That will be big enough for our desktop view. And also the height is the scrolling to the down, So like I said, so in Amazon, we do not know how long it's gonna be. So it will never end. So that's why the height, the better way or more intelligent, so that will be the value to set is not giving the fixed value, so that will be auto. So we have a CSS value called auto. So if you put it auto, if I save it, so what CSS is doing, if you give the auto value, so it will automatically find the element, and also it will close it, your box, that will be big enough or long enough to close the bottom one. So that's how to define it, your long, so your height. So that's a proper way to do it, guys. So that will be ignore the for the cutting the border right now, so you see that there's a cutting. So I want to show you the big screen, and then our goal is shifting to the center. That's our first goal. So ignore the cutting the border. So I will talk about it later. So that will be setting your height as auto. That will be the way to do it. So, and also, like I said, in the photo frame, so we need to find it where is the left margin width, so you have to say a 30 pixel, 40 pixel, 50 pixel for our left, so that we can have a right spot to put it at the center. So in CSS, if I bring it up, so now I have a 1200 pixel for our content. But so what gap is it? How can I measure it? What is this gap? And also I said you are building your website in your Samsung, in your a Dell laptop, so whatever. You cannot predict a different screen size, so people are using different computer, different desktop, Mac, Apple, so whatever. So now that will be we need to think about it. You're gonna guess it let's say, okay, whatever it is. So I'm gonna guess it for now. What if we put it a margin gap will be 500 pixel? If you guess it, I want to show you the step by step, so that if we learn it the wrong way, so that we will get the right answer. So to do that, let's say now margin left. So to do the margin, so in CSS, that's now in the photo frame, we have this margin left. So that will be margin left. I'm going to define it, like I said, a guessing, so that will be 500 pixel. So because in CSS we don't have a measuring tool, so that's why I'm going to put it that way. So now you see that I added one margin left value to be 500 pixel, and now it's shifted to the center. But now the problem is that it's not really center. So the margin left for my screens are really all the way better. So that adds more on the right, so it's not the center. So, and also it is wrong. So this is not the right way to do it. So now, so in CSS, instead of the guessing your the margin left and right, so what we can do is in CSS is, like I said, it's a computer, it's the same thing as a height. So what we can do is we can put it auto. So if you add margin left to be auto, if you save it, if you go back to your browser, so now what we're gonna say is you are defining left to be auto. So so you might be predicting, oh, if that will be the center. But right now the real thing is if you set the left margin auto in CSS, now everything cutting to the right. It stick to the right. So now this is also not the right thing. So now the one CSS property that we can add, what if we add the right margin to be auto? So to test it out, so if I go back to my CSS, so I'm gonna type it so in the real world we have a left margin, right margin, so that I can center my photo frame. So but CSS, we have to find it out that way, so that will be margin right. So that will be margin right if I set it auto. So now if I save it, and then if I go back to my browser, bam, now this time you're gonna have everything is at the center, and you brought it up. You shifted everything to the center. So that's the way to build it. And also, so like I said, if you're visiting to the AWS, so everything is built in that way. So all the elements are nicely put in the center, one big box, but we're not seeing the border, because they're not keeping the border, because it's for visual purpose. So that's how they lay out the box to get a center. That's the only way to do it. So now you get it. So that will be my box that I created a photo frame, and also I find it a margin. But in Figma we can measure it, we can divide it, so that we have a center point. But in CSS way, so the way to do it is we have to add the margin left and right auto, so that it will be keeping at the center. So that's the way to do it. So now the next step is like I said, I mean like so in the like width, you know, so like I mean like so that will be 1200 pixel is for like a little bit bigger screen. So let's say if you're really building, the next step is we have to build it like a little bit intelligent for our smaller screen. I mean, that will be our next step value. I mean, because as a developer, we cannot ignore like now it's a big screen, it's a really good enough, but what about the phone screen? So imagine that will be phone screen. Now my border is cut, and also the like I don't see like all the things. I mean even the creative learner YouTube's cutting, you know. So now the next step to do is so to do that, I mean like so for the smaller screen, and then the like if you want to see it like the next step is you can define it like I mean like so the like I mean a little bit intelligent. That will be in CSS, so you can define it max width, so that will be maximum, and then dash, that will be max width. If you set it like max width, and now this time you're gonna set it max width to be 1200 pixel. So, and also if you edit like another width in CSS rule, the fixed value, make sure that you have to like remove it like at the top width value. You know, you cannot like using the 2-3 width value. So that will be like I mean so it's not the correct way to do it. So I have to remove the top one, because now I have like one more properties that I can set it that will be much more like better for our smaller screen. So now, like I said, max width will be our value. So I will comment it out the width value at the top one. So to comment it, control and /, if I like comment it, and then now I'm gonna save it. So that way if I save it, bang, now you're gonna see it like in my smaller screen, my box is now like showing everything. Now it is not shifting, so now you can see that it stay at the center. And also, like I said, I mean like if you put it like a bigger screen, bang, now bigger screen also really just nice, and then it maintain my max width 1200 pixel is helping to keep it at the center. Everything for bigger screen, for smaller screen. So that's how we're gonna define it. I mean, so now, like I said, I mean like for teaching purpose, I mean like so if you do not know the max width, just now in my like content, you know, so what I said is like we have a percentage, so we can build with the percentage as well. I mean like so percentage will be like the one technique that we need to know, and might not be right for this like a big box, you know, but I want to show you like if you're using the percentage like, instead of the max width. So what I can do is I will remove this max width. Like I said, I'm going to comment it out. If I save it, now your width is now, I mean CSS is a little bit intelligent, you know, so like I said, you know, it's fitting everything, so there's no width and height, but height is auto. So like I said, now I want to show you with the percentage. So the percentage is something that a little bit intelligent too. You can use it, but like like I said, not for this main big box, you know, but I want to show you. So to do that, so I will start with the width too. So that will be width. Like I said, like what if like imagine that, so that is 100% that is getting my big box. But what if we just shrink it like imagine that 80%. So let's say if I like shrink it to the, so to do that, you know, so that will be, my width will be 80%. So I want to show you like a different technique so that we're gonna learn a lot. So if I save it like a width to be 80%, so if I bring up my big screen, so now you can see that, oh, it's not bad. So now you're gonna shrink it a little bit down, so that will be 75%. So it will be like keeping, for bigger screen or 75. And if you like really find it out, so what if like I think that will be 65% if I save it. So if I go back to my browser, oh, now just nice. That's the right things to do it. You might think that way, but like I said, so in CSS, in the graphic design, you know, so in the developing, so we cannot ignore the smaller screen. So to go back to smaller screen, so now you're gonna see the error. So now 65% is right for my big screen, but now 65% is not right for my smaller screen. So that's and so the wrong technique. I mean, if we're using the percentage, but I want to show you that like we have a different technique, I mean, to use it. So that will be 65% if we're not like stay at the center. So that's why we are getting the problem here. So that is I mean, so that's how we have this like a technique that we are having. And also that I mean, like, so like I said, I mean, like, it may not be true for my main box. I mean, so 65% or 80% or percentage technique is not correct for my box. But I mean, like, so now you can see that if I have a smaller box and then my image and my video and everything's are like overshooting. So I mean, so this time the percentage is a little bit right. I mean, so let's say I want to show you, let's say my like a free 30 days and all the image are shooting, you know. So to do that, I will select my image and then image selector, and then if I say like my width to be like this time, I'm gonna use like a percentage. If I say 100% for my, I mean, like the image, for image is correct. If you save it, bang, now you're gonna see it. So that's why I told you like a different technique for different element. So we need to know. I mean, so the percentage is not right for my like the main box. So it's not accurate for all the screen sizes. But image using the percentage is correct. So if I make it like a bigger screen, 100% is true. I mean, so if I have a bigger resolution, it is fit, it is correct. And also if I bring it down to the a little bit like a smaller screen, it fit into the center. So that's I mean, like I said, I mean, like different way of technique. Let's say, I mean, like you're flying. I mean, like you have to use a aircraft, you know. So you want to drive, you have to on the ground, you have to use I mean, a vehicle. If you want to like a ship across the ocean, you have to use I mean, like the really cruise ship, you know. So that's I mean, like same concept. I mean, like you cannot like use everything in the one thing. I mean, so you have to like related things. So that will be, I mean, like for image, we should use a percentage. It's the same thing. Now video, audio, everything overshooting, even the table. Now what I'm going to do is we have learned already. So that will be what I'm going to do. So I'm going to put it like, I mean, everything like a table, comma, it's a group, guys. I mean, like selector, we have learned already. So, and also, like I said, video, and also comma, and audio. So everything, if I put it, everything in one selector, if I save it, bang, now you're going to see everything will stay just nice inside my box. And also if I have a bigger screen, everything will still just nice inside my box. That's the way to fit it. I mean, so now we have a little bit like a presentable like a website that we can like I mean, like UI UX. It's not really the excellent, you know, but that's a little bit better so that we can see it. Okay, so now like I said, I mean, I will remove the width percentage from my big box. So I will remove it. So I'm going to comment it. So I think I will just put it at the bottom. So max width is where we're going to have it, you know. So that will be max width. So that will be our like the right property, and then the value will be 1200 pixel. So that's how we're gonna get it. So, and also like I said, I mean, like now you see that everything is really correct, and then big screen is just nice, and also in the smaller screen is correct. So that's how we gonna start with the box. And also the other thing, I mean, like, so back to my, like, we'll give it like a big box just like that. Back to my content. So what we have is we're gonna have like I mean, so the other thing will be like margin, padding, and the border. So I want to like talk about it, the concept for the padding, like a border, you know. So in the back to my photo frame, I mean, like, so like I said, the margin is we have learned. So that will be this blue, like I mean, so that will be our margin left. So that will be our margin right. And also, what about the padding? So padding is I mean, border is a very obvious. So the border will be here. So the red, like I mean, in Figma is a stroke, you know. So that is our border, because in CSS we need to know, I mean, like, so the border, so here I put it like a border to be 20 pixel. So which one is a border? So we need to know. That's why, I mean, like in the box model, so border will be this red. But now we have to know like a padding. So where is the padding to measure? I mean, like where it to start? I mean, margin is very simple. If you have a screen, I mean, like for our wall, we start it all the way from the edge, and then we measure it touching to the photo frame. So, but the padding is a little bit different. I mean, the padding. So if to measure the padding, again, I'm going to get it one rectangle box. So padding will not start from the border edge here. So it is not that way to measure. I mean, you might be thinking, hey, padding will be start from the frame outside. No, that's not the padding. I mean, in CSS, the padding is always start from the like a border, like a width, you know. So that will be, if you put it like a border to be 30 pixel, or if you put it like a border to 50 pixel, you have to start the padding from the border edge. I mean, so that will be here. So that is how like a padding to measure it. So I will color it that one too. So to get a padding a little bit different color. What if we get it like a little bit green thing, you know? So that will be bright green. And also I think that will be a little bit here. What if let it bring? So that's I think so that will be our padding. I mean, so now you see that this padding is like a start from the border edge, not outside. So it has to be inside of the border edge. So that's our padding value. So now, like I mean, so the way, like I mean, the concept of how to measure the padding, you have it. So now, if you go back to your like CSS box model, so it's the same thing. If I bring up my like I mean, so the I mean, I think my website, you know, so everything is touching to my border. I mean, so I don't want it in the real world. I mean, it's not the way to like put it. So what if we have a little bit padding that, I mean, so gaps that so that it will be pleasing for our visual, you know. So to do that, it's the same thing. So padding will always measure from the border. So that will be, I'm going to edit like this time, like a padding. So I'm going to edit in my XSL container. So padding, like if you say, and also the other thing, like in our padding, so back to my frame, I mean, we have a padding. So that will be left. If I put it padding to be here, that will be padding right. And also if I put it here, so that will be padding top. I mean, like, so if I put it, so that will be, if I bring it down, so that will be padding bottom. It's the same as a margin too. Margin also, we're gonna have a like a margin, like I mean, like, so all around, you know. So let's say if you wanted like a margin to be the top, so if you like rotate it, so that will be, I mean, like, so if you want to rotate it, so that way, sorry, so that will be that way. And I'm gonna cut it down, so that will be here. And also the margin, so that will be my margin top, and also the margin bottom. I mean, bottom is a little bit tough. So what if we measure it from the like I mean, from the couch, you know? So that's a way to measure it, because the flower gonna change. So that's our gonna be our margin bottom. So and also same thing in the padding, it's the same. Like I mean, like padding is if I measure it from the top, so if I put it here, so that will be my always like inside of the border edge. So that's gonna be that way. So if I put it that way, now you have a little bit like a all around padding and then margin, and then you're gonna see it that way. So now it's the same thing in my CSS. So instead of saying the padding, so what I have is a padding. I mean, so that's a shorthand. I will talk about it later. So padding. So we have this like a left, right, you know. So just now I show you like I want it like a left. I don't want it right padding. So padding. So I want it left. So that will be padding left. And I'm going to have it like what if we have a padding left to be like a little bit like 20 pixel. So that will be good enough. So if I save it padding left that way, once you save it back to your browser, now we have a little bit gap. If you want it more, I mean, for a smaller screen, don't forget, you know, so if you cannot get it too much. So, and also if you want it like a little bit padding more, so back to Visual Studio Code. So what if we add it like a little bit like 40 pixel to test it out back to your browser. So now we have padding. So padding always measure from the I mean, like, so the like an inside edge of the border, you know. So that will be our padding. So I mean, like, so now it's a padding left. So what if we want it like a padding top? So to get it, so padding top. So to do that, so what I'm gonna do is like a padding top. So that will be padding, and I'm gonna edit, let's say, I mean, so that will be padding, and then dash top, so that will be like padding top to be like, what if we say like I mean that would be 30 pixel, you know, a little bit high. So if I save it, now you're gonna see that our like a box is just nice. So our title is a little bit have a gap, so you can read it a little bit better for a smaller screen, so it's correct. So that's how. And also like you see that without the right padding, I mean like we do not have it. I mean like, so the creative is touching to our border. So to do that, I mean to have a little bit right padding will be nice. So back to my CSS. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna edit one more padding, so that will be right. So I'm just gonna say padding dash right, and then I'm gonna type it this time like I mean like, so what if we keep it the same padding like width left and right, you know, so right gonna be same as left, so that will be 40 pixels. If I save it, now you're gonna see like everything is padding right, padding left, and also that will be the at the I mean a bigger screen. So now we have a little bit padding left and right, and now it's a little bit better, like a more presentable website that we have created. I mean that's like a how box model is the only way to like create layout, you know. So that's like padding, and also the other thing, I mean like in the like we are learning the padding and margin. I mean, so now you can see that, I mean, so the padding left is a 40 pixel, padding right is a 40 pixel. And also, what if we want it like a padding top to be 40 pixel? So this time, what I can do is I can do the shorthand. I mean, like, imagine that you want it like a padding bottom. So that will be all the way to the bottom. I don't want to touch it. I want it like a padding bottom to be 40 pixel. To do that, what if I edit like a padding dash bottom? I mean, so that will be 40 pixel. So if you want it like a one shorthand for your padding, instead of the writing here, so padding left 40 pixel, padding top 40 pixel, padding right. So unless, I mean like you have a different value, you know, you want to set it like a very customized padding, so it depends on you. But right now you see that like I want to show you one shorthand too. So everything is repeating left, top, right, and the bottom it's a 40 pixel. So it's repeating. So what we're gonna do is that we have a CSS shorthands for our padding. It's the same as a margin. If margin are the same value, repeating the same thing, so we can do same as a padding. I mean, if you go back to my photo frame, margin and padding is the same, you know. So that's the way. So to do that, so what we're gonna do is for shorthand in CSS, you can just type it instead of a padding left, right, top, and bottom. So we just say padding. I mean, so that will be shorthand. And also, we don't have to type it too many value. I mean, we just type it like a 40 pixel, and that's it. I mean, so that's I mean the good things. I mean, like instead of the writing 2-3 lines, I mean, like now we have a one line padding and then pixel 40. So if I save it, now 40 pixel padding, now it's a cascading, you know, it's going to overtake it, everything. Now you can see that. So everything is aligned, and then now you have this padding to be 40 pixel. If I put it a little bit bigger, so now you're going to have it that way. So that is how we can like keep it our padding. So now I can like remove it. So even if you want to keep it, you can keep it. Why don't we just remove and test it out? It's the same. If you keep it the same, so it is the same. So it's the bottom one will always take over. So that will be bigger screen. We have a left, right, and then top padding. So at the bottom, so we're gonna have this like a padding 40 pixel, you know. So that's how CSS shorthand we can create it, guys. So that will be another like a topic. And also that will be percentage pixel that I want to talk about it. And also the other thing, I mean, like, so the like CSS box sizing, I want to show you the one I saw. So CSS box sizing is something that we need to so to think about it. I mean, like, let's say for now, I mean, you might be thinking everything is looking good. I mean, like, we want to shift it to the center, and then we have shifted up. If we have a smaller screen, we use a max width to like have a better smaller screen. So we did it right. But I mean, like, if you like really serious about it in professional, let's say, I mean, like you like so in like in the browser, you know what you can do is Now you can like zoom in your the browser, you know. So to do that, press Control and plus key. So this is not doing anything, sorry, even that Control and plus key is zooming in to my Visual Studio Code too. But I don't want it my Visual Studio zooming, so you have to select it your like a browser, and then to zoom in, so you just Control and plus key, you zoom in that way. So now what we are seeing is now you notice that my red border is not really touching to the the screen, you know. So it has a little bit gap. If you you go into the detail, so it is not the right so the thing so if you really zooming in the bigger screen also, it has a little bit gap that I did not define. So if you're zooming out, so it's in my zoom out, so it is correct. So zoom in and zoom out also, if you press it on this value, so it will go back to your 100%, you know. But if you zoom out, so using the Control plus minus, and also you can use your mouse scroll wheel too. If you press Control key and then scroll it from your mouse, so that's also like zooming in and out. So now, like I said, why it is not when we zooming in, why we are having this really like a big a gap. I don't want it. So if you're serious, very getting into the detail, so I want to talk about it. So that's how we're gonna define with the box sizing. So to remove the box is so right now, why we are seeing the gap in this border is not, instead of that touching to our the Firefox browser, you know, that screen size. So to do that, so in CSS, so in the a computer a browser technology, you know, so they are using the default box sizing. So that will be if I put it default box sizing. So so in I show you in the portfolio or other web tutorial, you know. So in my tutorial I told you that to reset everything in your CSS is that you start with the asterisk. It's the same thing. Just now we created a border box, so you're gonna reset it. I want to remove this white gap, so to reset it, I'm gonna edit one wildcard or this asterisk, same thing as a box. So I'm gonna edit one margin, so that I want to remove it, so I don't want it, so I want to remove it to margin to be 0. If I put it a padding, so I do not know, is it because of the padding or because of a margin? I do not know. So that's why I'm gonna reset it, everything, margin and padding to the 0. And also in the technology, the browser, they have their own a technology to render our style. So now I am resetting, giving my a padding and margin to be 0. So wildcard is representing everything to remove it. So if I save it, bang, now you're gonna start seeing it is removed. So that's how so now you can see that if I zoom it in, so now you do not have it. So the border and a padding is removed, so I don't have any gap. So that's how we're gonna have it. The gap will be removed. If I zoom out, so if you want to quickly zoom out, you click on this percentage in the view. So now if you zoom out, click it, that will be, if you zoom it out, so that will be our removing the gap. If you're zooming in, so I don't see any gap here right now. So just now is that we are seeing, so now we have removed it. So that is how you are resetting so margin and padding gap. Just now we see, you know, so that's the way to do it. But just now, like I said, so what about the box sizing? What is wrong with that? Just now we have a content that we learn about it. So this a box and content and border and padding boxes. So in CSS, so the default will be the box sizing is if you type it a box sizing, so that will be default is a content box. So if we're not seeing anything, so default is a content box. If I save it, so now you have this everything's in the bigger screen, so that's really big, you know. There's a zoom in. If you want to zoom in out, click on this value, Then now we have this 1200 pixel is a really big enough and then fitting everything. But for smaller screen, so now we set it, everything is fitting. So but what if, to test it out, like I said, like box sizing, if I remove it, so that's so all the browser default value, so if I remove it, and also like I said, so I am using the max width to be 1200 pixel. That is a little bit big enough. What if we cut it, our box, to be a little bit smaller so that we can see, the box sizing, so that we can define and then finding out the right value. So to do that, I'm going to remove it, the max width. So that will be, instead of the 1200, what if we just say 300 pixel. So if I save it, bang, now you're gonna start seeing, oh, okay, so I set it my max width to be a 300 pixel, and also now I'm getting that, you might be guessing that, oh, so that's right, so we are getting the 300 pixel, and if I make it big, so this is a 300 pixel, you might be guessing. But actually, so if I measure it, so this is not the correct 300 pixel. Why? Because why I'm saying, so this is, like I said, the browser is using the box sizing for the content. So if I comment it out, so that is a default box, it will stay the same if I make it. So do not forget that we have changed our max width to 300 pixel. So you're seeing that way here right now. So what if, we change our box sizing from content to, I want to show you that so what is a difference between box sizing, so border box, padding box, and then all these things. Now we have another box sizing that will be border box. So we have a change from content to the border box because it's a cascading. You edit properties at the bottom, it's gonna be the last value will be overruled. So if I save it, bang, now you're gonna see a little bit squeezed. It's just now it's a little bit bigger, it's a little bit squeezed. So you might be wondering, okay, so now which one is correct for 300 pixel? That's our value. We want to, let's say you are inventing, your screen for your Apple Watch. Like I say, we have a different a screen size, so that will be Apple Watch. So 300 pixel has to be that way. But now you are seeing if you're not using the box, so if I comment it out, you're not using the border box, so you have a little bit bigger box. Does it really 300 pixel? So to test it out, so what I will do is I will just gonna using the content box here. So I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna do the screenshot. So to do the screenshot in your PC, so window and then print screen. So that will be our print screen, and then I go back to my Figma, then I'm gonna paste it here. So that will be my print screen. If I paste it, so now I have a one print screen. And also, like I said, I went to test it out with the border box too. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna uncomment it. So this thing, so that will be, go back to your home, uncomment it. If I save it, so now we have a border box is taking over. Now I'm gonna take it one more screenshot. So to test it out, make sure that you save it and also make it big. And then this time I'm gonna make it one more screenshot. So that will be print screen. And then now go back to your Figma. So what I'm gonna do is, so that will be, if I paste it here. So now this is the same screen size. So now you see that the top one is a content box, the bottom one is a bottom box. The border box. So let's measure it. So use your rectangle tool, and then I'm gonna click and drag it. So always start from the outside edge to do the whole width. And also that's how to measure the box. Whenever we set that it's a photo frame, it's the same thing. The whole photo frame size will be including the outside of the width, the border. So it's the same thing here. So I'm gonna measure it here. So that will be, what if we change a little bit color to this thing so that we can see it. So that will be our a size of the content box. So that one will be, you can see 418. So if you go to the layout here, you can see that will be 418. It's not 300 pixel. If you remember it, so we set it a 300 pixel, but let's test it out for the bottom one. So I'm gonna go to the bottom. So that is a border box. So if I measure it, so now we're gonna have it, so measure it, touching. So now we're gonna say 299. If you go to the layout, now we have this 299. I mean, like 299 is just a 1 pixel, you know, that will be 300 pixel. If you're really touching it, so that will be, I mean, a 300 pixel. So now we have an answer. I mean, what's different is now you know that. So content box is seems to be like a little bit confusing. I mean, so if you're not really technically you're not measuring, I mean, you did not know which is the right thing, you know. So but now we have this a content box is a little bit visually it's maybe correct, but if you're going into the really in depth, so the only way to have an accurate box sizing, so that will be border box. I mean, so now we know that we don't have to care about the content box, and also that will be border box. I mean, so that is how we're gonna have a border box, guys. I mean, so I want to show you that thing. And also the other thing, like I said, I mean, we have other thing so border box is the only true, guys. I mean, and also a teaching purpose, I want to show you what if we edit one more instead of the, I think that will be better after the border box. What if I edit one more box sizing? So once you type it a box sizing, you know, so in Visual Studio Go, a different a value, a content box calculation, these are a little bit advanced. I mean, I don't want to show you. So what I have is another thing will be, like I said, I mean, in the content. So what we have is content, border, padding, and margin, and inherit. So I want to show you inherit is the same thing. If you choose it inherit, so if I type it inherit, if I save it, so it's gonna inherit my content. I mean, so that's inheriting the default value as I mean, a content box sizing, you know. So it's not a border box. I mean, whenever you use an inherit, so the CSS will look for the the default, that is a setting. I mean, so right now we do not have something to inherit. That's why, so it will go back to the programming, the web browser, that the a default value, so inheriting, and also that will be content border box. I mean, sorry, the content box sizing. That's why it's a little bigger. So now inherit is a little bit big, because I mean, if you compare it, if you comment it out, so you're gonna see it the smaller one should be here. So that's a border box. So, and also the other thing, like I said, I mean, so box sizing, I will go back to the, like I said, I have this padding box. If I use it padding, so that will be, I think I can use it a padding box. If I save it, and also it's the same thing, it's the same as a content. I mean, so it's gonna have a little bit box. It is not correct. And also I have a little bit box sizing too, so that will be, I mean, so margin. So if I use it margin as a, I think this time I have to edit a margin box, you know. So that will be margin box. And also padding, do not forget adding the box. So that will be margin box. If I edit margin box, also it's not correct. I mean, it's a little bit bigger, you know, so you can see that visually. I don't want to measure it. If you screenshot it, if you measure in your Figma, it's gonna be wrong again. So that will be margin box. So now we know that, I mean, so we have a different box sizing, and also we can reset it. So the reset thing is something that if you're seeing a gap, if you want to remove it, so that's the only way to reset it with the I mean, asterisk. You remove it, all the margin and padding. And also the box sizing is I mean, the correct box sizing will be border box. So what if we just edit a border box at the bottom, so that I will cut it out, and then I'm gonna add it at the bottom, so the border box will be the right value. So if I save it, it seems to be a little bit small, but like I said, I mean, you want it a 300 pixel, so that's gonna be correct size, you know, because let's say you're building for different screen size. I mean, Apple Watch, just now I show you, so you cannot I mean, run away from your width. So you're I mean, you're developing different screen size. So that's why, I mean, it's always in the real world, I mean, so the developers are using the box sizing as a border box. So I'm gonna show you later that things too. Okay, that's how border box is different from other box sizing. So, and also I want to put it back my max width. So that will be, I want to remove it like a 300, so put it back like a 1200 pixel. So that will be our starting point. I mean, that's a big enough, so I'm going to keep it that way. And also the other thing, back to my content, I mean, what else? I mean, we have it like a margin and padding collapsing. So I want to show you, I mean, like the margin and padding collapsing too. So that will be, I mean, what is a margin and padding collapsing, you know? So let's say, okay, this time I'm gonna edit like I mean, so the welcome to CSS. I'm gonna edit one big box and also this paragraph as a box. So to do that, I mean, like, so now we need to select it, the right element. So to do that, I'm gonna save it. So the heading is in the header. So I mean, like, what if we just add one class attribute so that we will not run away, you know? So I mean, like, if you're saying like H1, it will be, H1 could be anywhere. So to the best way to select it, the H1 is I'm gonna edit one class attribute here. So that will be, what if we just say like I mean, like, so that will be, I mean, heading. So I just say like a class will be heading title. So what if we just say like X title? So if we say like I mean, so that will be, class will be like a H1 title. So I mean, it's a little bit, it's up to you. So you can define it like a title to be XL, XXL. It's up to you guys. I mean, like we can put it like a H1 title for now. So that one, the other will be paragraph. So what if we just say like instead of the title, what if we just edit like class to be like header. So that will be heading, and also the paragraph. So that will be class. I'm gonna edit like class to be, I mean, a class attribute, you know, so the class attributes to be a paragraph. So it's a paragraph, so that we have a little bit what's meaningful. So to do that way. So now, like I said, I'm gonna select it from my CSS. So I want to show you the margin collapsing. So that will be, now I'm gonna select it to start with the dot and then heading. And also that's, I'm selecting the header. So, and also now, like I'm gonna edit like a box, you know, so that we can see a little bit different. So to do that, I'm gonna edit like a border box. So border, so that will be, what if we just say like a 3 pixel, and also solid. I think this time, what if we just wrap it with the blue? I mean, so if we save it blue, now we're gonna have a border. And also, like I said, I mean, like, so now we learn it like padding, margin, everything. So what if we just say like I mean, like, so now it's touching the border, you know, so not to touch with the border, it's not the margin. I mean, like I said in the photo frame, I mean, whenever you want it like I mean, like not touching the border edge, so it has to be a padding. It's not a margin. So to do that, I'm gonna back to my I mean, like, so the heading. So that I'm gonna do is like a padding. So I'm gonna edit like this time. What if we just say I think like 20 pixel will be good enough. So all around, so that I'm gonna save it that way. Now we have a little bit padding for our heading title. And also, like I said, I mean, I'm gonna like edit like a margin. I want to show you that margin collapsing, you know. So if I say like a margin, let's say if I say like I mean, like this time like margin to be like 50, like a big enough, you know. What if we just say 100 pixel? So if I save it, so now it's gonna like push it all the way like I mean away, you know. So but for us, I mean, like for now, instead of the margin like top, we do not need it. So what if we can say is only I want to test it out, so that will be margin bottom. So what if we just say margin bottom will be 20 pixel. So if I save margin bottom here, so now I have pushed it out. If without the margin bottom, so if I comment it out, so if I save it, it's touching my paragraph to my border. So if I like a border, I mean, so if I remove it, if I save it now, like margin bottom 20 pixel is pushing my creative learner. So now the next step is adding a border for my creative learner. So to do that, I'm gonna edit. So that will be, just now we have given it like, I mean, like the paragraph will be this paragraph, you know. So I think, so I can copy the class name here. So I'm gonna paste it. And also don't forget to add a dot for class selector. So I'm gonna select it, curly brace, and then I'm gonna edit like a border. So it's the same thing. I'm gonna edit like a 3 pixel and solid. That will be blue. So if we add a blue, and also same thing to the padding. So I'm going to add a padding to be like instead of auto, I'm going to add it like and what if we just say padding? It's the same thing. I think that will be 20 pixel. Whenever we use a padding 20 pixel, so don't forget that it is a CSS shorthand, guys. I mean, so that will be 20 pixel all around, padding left, right, top, and bottom, 20 pixel, and also that will be the other thing. I mean, like, so now, like I said, before I will not set anything. I mean, so margin, you know, so I will leave it blank. So if I save it blank, now I have different box, you know, so that will be welcome to CSS learning. I added one box, and also the creative learner has one more box here. So if I make it big, also it's the same thing. It's gonna be that way. I mean, like, so guys, I mean, like, so this time the margin collapsing is what if we remove from the margin bottom 20 pixel, if I remove it, so it's touching. So it's so there's no margin, you know. So if I put it back, that will be, so that will be, my 20 pixel will be push it out. So you can imagine that is I can do the screenshot too. I want to show you. So now I'm gonna edit what if we just add like a margin, so that will be margin top. If I say margin top, so in my paragraph, so I am adding my margin top in my paragraph, and then also don't forget that I have already added my margin bottom in my title, so that will be welcome to CSS learning, 20 pixel. Now I'm adding one more margin top, that will be 20 pixel. If I save it, so for now, if I save it, bang, you might be thinking that, hey, I am adding 20 pixel for each. So you might be thinking that why I'm not getting the 40 pixel. So now this is a margin collapsing. So in CSS, one thing to know, it is same for different CSS properties. You know, you might be guessing to adding more value to it, but you're not getting the right combine. You know, so that's if you sum it a 20 pixel margin bottom should be 20 pixel here. If I added more margin top, it should be the top will be shooting more. But instead of that getting 40 pixel for it, now we are getting only the 20 pixel. So that is CSS how it is built, guys. So it's collapse, and then it will not get a 40 pixel. So one thing to know. And also let's say so what if I just add, instead of the 20 pixel, so what if I add the at the margin top, so what if I have instead of 20, let's say to make it a little different, 60 pixel. So when I save it, bang, so this is a 60 pixel. It's not 60 and 20, it's not combining. So this gap is only using the 60 pixel. So to illustrate it, so I will take one screenshot from my 20 pixel. So I will just take one screenshot, and then I'm going to paste it into my in this Figma, and so I'm going to show it you if I paste it here, and also I'm going to take it back to my, like I said, so 60 pixel. So keep in mind that will be 60 pixel. If I save it, I think CSS is good, you know. So if I say 60 pixel in Figma, also 60 pixel. So now 60 pixel, if I save, and then I'm going to take one screenshot, and then back to my Figma, and also I'm going to paste it here. So if I paste it, so same screen size. So if I go and measure it, so to test it out, guys, so the measure will start with the always to the edge. So get your rectangle tool, so you just click and drag it. Now we're going to have it, this is the one. So to see a little bit coloring, so I'm going to use a little bit bright color here. So if I measure it now, you can see that the height is a 20 pixel here. If you go to the layout, now you can see that 20 pixel, instead of the a 40 pixel. And also the other thing, at the bottom one, we set it a 60 pixel here. So to measure it, so it's the same thing. I'm going to get my rectangle tool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag and drop it. It's just the same thing here. So now you can see that it's a 59, now it's a 60 pixel. So like I said, it's a margin collapse. So we have only so just now it's back to my CSS, it does not combine the two value, you know. So one thing to know is if we are competing margin bottom and a margin like a top in the same direction, so that will be like a competing into the one direction. I mean, so that's a CSS is collapsing. I mean, unless you're doing like a margin top and then like a same element margin bottom, so it's gonna be like we're gonna have a value. But like I said, I mean, you have this two element, you have a same direction that is competing in the one direction, so that's why the margin is collapsed. It's the same thing, padding is gonna be collapsed, so that's why I mean one thing to know, so that is collapsing your value for margin and padding, guys. So that's one thing to like talk about it. I mean, so back to my like content. I mean, so it's already 1 hour, guys. I mean, so that's a lot to talk about it too. So the other thing will be block and inline, and then I want to make it quickly, you know, so that will be like I want to show you like to do that. So I mean, let's finish it. I mean, everything, you know, that will be good too. So to do that, like to like understand it better for the like I mean, so back to my content, so that will be like I mean, like block and inline block. So to test it out, I mean, so like in CSS, I mean, so the span is like an inline element. I mean, so just now I show you like what are the inline element. I mean, if you like use like the wildcard, you know, so just now I show you if you use a wildcard, so if you create a border around it, so like to test it out again, I mean, if let's say, I mean, like, so all the inline, so I show like a YouTube part 1, part 2, all these are the inline element. So I mean, let's say if you go to the this YouTube part 1, part 2 to test it out, if I save it like I mean, like, so that will be like that will be a tag. I mean, like, so NAVULLI. So let's say, what if I put it like I'm gonna put it like my NAV to test it out. So that will be NAV, and then I'm gonna put it like a border. So that will be border. What if we just say like NAV border will be 2 pixel, and also that will be along like I mean a solid is the same, so that will be green. So my like that's a NAV border. So if I save it now, you see that, and also I'm going to add it like one padding, so that will be like a padding to be like a 20 pixel. If I save it now, you can see that like I think the green is the same thing, you know. So what if we just say it like orange, so a little different, you know. So if I save it orange, sorry, so ORENGE orange. If I save it now, we have like one like a NAV border. So that will be like I mean, like, so it's like a block level element. So I mean, like, so the block and the inline elements is if you see like your border boxes are stretching the whole width, so that will be the block element. So now you can see that the whole line is stretching. I mean, like from starting to the end, I mean, it's stretching like all the way. So now what is the inline? I'm gonna like find it out, my inline element. So slowly build it out. I want to show you like a step by step, you know. So now nav is done. I'm gonna put it like a UL. So UL will be another thing. I'm gonna wrap it one more like I mean the same thing, you know, so it will be the same. So I'm going to pair it like this time I think I don't need a padding, so I'm going to border, then I'm going to paste it like instead of the orange, what if we just use a little bit different color. So to do that, so I'm going to slide it here, so that will be my like a UL. If I save it now, UL is also like a stretching like the whole block. I mean, like, it's not the inline element, so that's in I mean like the block level element. So and also the display type, like I said, I mean the display will be like a block like an element, so that will be like a display block level element. And also the other thing I want to show you like so that will be like a inline element, you know. So UL, nav, so these are all stretching everything. So even in the LI, if you edit one border to your LI, so UL also same. So if you edit like a LI, so you can test it out. I mean, LI is a border, so that will be like I mean same thing like I mean from the top, you know, 2 pixel I think. So that will be, I'm going to remove the border here, so 2 pixel instead of the like orange. I'm going to have a little bit different color, so that what if we just say a little purple. Then if I save it now, we're going to have one more like I mean that's the same thing. It's a block level element, and then your border is stretching all the way like to the end. I mean, so that's why I mean in like a CSS we have a different display types. So UL, LI, and also the like a NAV. So right now, and also even the like a heading. I mean, so now you see that if I edit border to the heading, everything is a block level element. Just now I show like a wildcard, and then it just edit like a block level element. There's a no inline for now, but I mean like, so I want to show you one thing. So the inline, so that will be a tag. I mean, so if I say a tag, and then now I'm gonna say like a same thing, I'm gonna paste it like a border, and then instead of the orange, what if we just use like a same thing, like a little bit different color, so that will be a little bit like a pinky, you know, so that was this bright red. If I save it for the border, so now we're gonna see it. So for a tag is now becoming inline. I mean, let's now you see that. So a tag is not stretching like the box, the border all the way to the end. It's a different from the UL, nav, and li, you know. So if you scroll it down everywhere where's an a tag, it does not stretch it to the all the way to the end. So whenever the box is stay in its element, so we call it, that will be inline element. And when the box is stretched to the end, so that will be block level element. So now we know that, I mean like, so if we finding out the block, and then I mean like what is inline and the block level element, you know. So now I can use my like I mean like display type. I mean like, so let's say if you want it like if you're like for instance, you know, so let's say if I want it for instance, so to show you like a little bit, I mean like, so in the example, let's say I wanted this download link. I mean, I don't want it like just staying in the like a corner, you know. I want it like the video and the audio, I want to stretch it all the way, and then like I put it a little bit big like a background. So to do that, so what I can do is in like a CSS, I can force it my inline element. So to do that, that will be download. So I have to go back to my HTML, and then I have to find it out like a download. So that will be here. I mean, like, so there's a download video script, and then at the bottom, so that will be a tag. This one, I mean, like, so that will be like D. I mean, like, even we can say like DD, you know. So let's say like a DD and A. That will be good enough. So to do that, I'm gonna say like using the descendant element DD and A. If I save it that way, now I'm gonna stretch it. So this will be display. I mean, like just now I show you like in default, if you are not like saying like a block, so it will be the default is inline because we have already tested out. So the border is just like a little bit tiny box that is not stretching, and then it just like stay in the like the word, you know. So if I save it, if you say display inline, so DDA will stay the same here, like you see, I mean DDA here, so everywhere in DDA. But now if I say like a display, so I want to show you like a display to be a block. So if I force it, I mean like, so now I'm gonna like force like do the block, you know. If I save it, bang, now you're gonna see it like really stretch it to the like the whole block. So the point is what if I mean like you want it like to do this download to be, now I can do the background color. Let's say I want it like what if background color to be a little bit I think to see better yellow, and then also I want it border, so that will be a little bit 3 pixel. I think border, I think I can remain, you know, because of the border we already have it on the A tag. I will remain it the border, and also I want to like see the background only. If I save it, and also I can add the padding. So what if we just add a padding for our like I mean inline element A. So that will be, if I save it 20 pixel here, if I save it, bang, now you're gonna see it like instead of the like a small little tiny box, now I stretch it. So that is how we have like in CSS, I mean we have a different like a block level element, inline element, but we can force it, we can like I mean like manipulate it, a block to be inline to be a block level, you know, because I mean like now it's a little bit like a simple layout, but sometimes I mean like if you back to my like Amazon, we're gonna have a different complex layout. I mean like, so now you see that dollar here, one box, add card, and also at the bottom we're gonna have all these are a little bit complicated, like a complex layout. So unless you like you learn it like a different, like a display type, so that's important too. So there's how you are manipulating like a block level element, and also to be the inline element to be a block level element. So if you want to shift it to the center, you can shift it, but I will put it that way. So that is how okay, the other thing I want to show you is forcing inline element, so it's like we said on my lesson content. So we have this margin and padding for span and other inline elements. So we're gonna have a little bit if we do not know the box model, we're gonna have a problem. So let's say if you go back to my so at the top, so we have done this download, and then if you go back, so we have this YouTube part 1 and part 2. So let's say so we have different techniques and different a CSS style to get our layout. But for now, I want to show you if you're forcing inline element or block element to be inline, so we're gonna have a little bit trouble. So that will be, let's say now YouTube part 1, part 2 is so that's A is an inline element. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna force it like a LI. So if you say like a LI is the whole block, so if you go back, you can see LI is I give it like a little purple, so there's a LI is structuring the whole line. That's a block level element. But I'm gonna force it like a LI to be so what if we do it like a LI to be like a forcing to be display. So that will be instead inline, it's so the block will be like a default, so like I said, block will be default. If I save it, it's gonna be the same. But like I said, I'm gonna force it to be inline. So I want to show like a span and other element that we're gonna have a trouble. So if I save it inline, and then now what we're gonna do is everything cut it into the one piece. So actually it should be like a cutting to the one line. So inline, it's always have to be in one line, but now we are seeing like a one by one. It should be starting from the next line. So why we are setting the next line is don't forget the way we build in our HTML. That's why I added the BR in all the HTML when we build it. So because I want to see like a little bit break, so because we haven't learned the CSS yet, so that's why now I have to remove it. BR is making my inline to be break into the next line. So if I remove it BR from my HTML file, so if I save it now, if I go back now, you can see that my LI is actually should be the way it should be that way. So that is how so YouTube, when I mouse over it, if you want to mouse over effect, so you can go back to the at the top, so what we have is I think we have used a pseudo selector. So so that will be at the top. So we have added a little bit hover effect here. This is the one. What if we just remove it, this hover effect, so we don't need it? So I'm going to remove it, all the hover effects from my CSS. If I save it, so it will not have this hover effect, it will just change to my pointer. So back to my this in the inline, like I said, originally it's a block level element, but if I force it to be inline, and then now the problem is that you might think that so so it's become a one line each other. So if I put it so to get a center, so we have learned it to get a center is a margin, that will be margin left to be auto, and also margin right to be auto. So if I save it, so you won't get it. It's not because of anything else. My break, we have removed it, everything is right. But the thing is in a display inline, so you will not have the a center value for auto. It will not affect it. So in the other way, CSS does not apply, there's no value, it will not be applied. So that's why even if you set it auto, it will not affect, so that will be ignored. So now what we have to do is if you really force fold it to get it to center. So the only way is that we're gonna have it like a, guessing our value. You know, if you push it like 100 pixel, and we're gonna have it like if you push it, so it's a little bit like getting a center. And so the other thing like 50 pixel, now a little bit similar. So if we're gonna push it like 60 pixels, so now it's a little bit center. But so it's for like a small screen. You know, if we make it like a bigger screen, so now your alignment is out. So that's why in CSS, so we cannot use one technique for everything. So like I said, in my content we have a different like a display type. So that will be like block inline. If you fold it like, even if you fold it like to be inline like a dash block, so let me test it out. So that will be inline dash block. So even if you use an inline dash block, it will not get it. So you are forcing the original block level element to be inline. This is not the way to get the center. So now, like I said, what we have is the other thing will be like a flex and the grid. To get the flex and grid, so in the CSS, what we have is instead of this like a flex and grid also, we cannot like it has a different properties and different like a concept, you know, so we cannot use it on the li. So if you want to use a flex in your li, it has to be like a parent. What I mean is so ul is the parent to the like this 3 li. So part 2, part 1, YouTube is parent by the ul. So you can only add your flex in the ul. You cannot add the flex in the li. So if you add it like a display flex here, so if I add it like a display flex, it's a wrong concept. You're gonna see it like the way you, it's not what we want. So we want it like it's a menu, like I said. It should be one line and then a little bit like a center alignment. So now, if you want it like a flex to be used, so now what we have to do is that we're gonna go back to the parent element. So that will be ul, and I have to use it like a ul has like a child element. If like the sum element, let's say you're using in the H1, it does not have a child element or descendant, you cannot use flex. But you can use it flex for, let's say if it has I'm gonna use it flex for article. So article has a header is a child, and then section will be the child, and then also another section. So that's where we can use it, the flex. So it's the same concept. For flex, you have to use it for all the descendants. So that will be you apply your flex to the parent, so that will be ul, and then also you have to apply it like like flex, and then now so forget about the margin, you know. So you want it really get it like all the inline. So so the block level element to get it inline. If I save it, bang, now you're gonna have it like this is like forcing your block level element to be a flex, and then that will be inline flex. So so flex has to talk about it a lot. This time, so once we have a flex, flex is a little bit like so common use. It's now like instead of the margin, it does not apply the margin too. If you add it like a margin to be auto, you won't get it. Flex is not like used with the margin, but flex has its own like a property. So let's say if I edit like a justifying content to be center, if I save it now, flex is like its own way to center it. So this is how we're gonna use it like a flex for the different properties. Like I said, we have if you edit like a padding, this time I can edit like a padding. If I edit like what if we say like a 20 pixel, now I'm going to have it the way we want it. Now if I want it really a margin gap, so I can push it like each margin. What if we just edit like a 20 pixel? If I push it out, so in between also that will be now I have to add my margin into li. So that will be I'm gonna push it. So that will be ul li. So I'm gonna edit like what if so even we can edit like airline, you know. So that will be padding. So that will be 20 pixel. So that is now how we're gonna forcing our a block level element and to get it the way we want it. But we cannot use it all the time display to be inline, it has to be flex. Like I said, I mean, so like a different, like a block level element, inline element, flex element, and that grid also, I mean, it's the same. So if you use a grid, I mean, so now, so grid also the same thing. It must have so it has to be like the descendant, so included, you know. So if there's no descendant, the grid will not be applied. So now I'm going to say like a display to be grid. These are a little bit introduction for flex and grid, guys. I mean, like we're going to have a future tutorial for grid and like a flex, you know. So it's the same thing, but this time it's not just define content. What we're going to do is I'm going to put it, once you say grid, so grid have this way, and also display grid. And if I want it like a display, like one row, so display has a one, so that will be like column, so template, so that will be, I think, so that will be column, so the row and column, you know, so that will be template, so that will be, so grid template column, so that will be like this property. And then I'm gonna put it like if you want it one row, so I'm gonna repeat it, so that will be, let's say if I want it like a column to be I think that will be 3 column, and I want it like one row, so that will be 1 FR. If I save it, now you're gonna have this grid like a little bit nicely, put it in the center. So that's a different like a display type. And then like I said, you don't have to force it for your like I said in my like a content, you know, we have a like a block level element, inline element. You don't have to force it, but even if like you really force it, you can do that. If you want it like you're gonna play around with the margin, you cannot use a margin auto padding. So sometimes these are the like things to know that like sometimes you're having a struggle, you know, you put it like a inline to be block to be inline, you're adding the margin, and all these are like getting errors. So that's one thing to know. You have to play around with your display type, you know. And also, like I said, span is the same thing, other inline element. That's one thing to know, guys. And also I want to show you that like the dev tool, you know, so that will be, I think that will be the last things to take a look. I think I will like keep it as we can use it like a grid. So like I said, we don't have to force it, you know. So for now, if you really want it, I'm gonna put it like a flex. And also like I said, so flex will be justified content. So I'm gonna say like a center if I save it. So we're gonna have this one. If you remove it, all the border from all our inline element or all the block level element, so that's what we have tested. So if I remove it, delete it out, so what we're gonna see is a little bit nicely done our menu. So if you play around with the font size, so you can do that. But for now, I think the typography will be in the next tutorial, so we can talk about it. So for now, we have it like so a little bit center everything, and also like we have a little bit like we learn about it like a margin collapsing, or the box sizing, and the percentage we learn it. So the last will be, we have talked about it, Figma, you know, so Figma also how we can use it, and then how to use a Figma to draw a frame. And also now the dev tool, so that will be the final things to learn. So if you use Firefox, or maybe if you're using the like Chrome, like Edge, whatever browser, you know, so Safari. So if you right click it, you go to the inspect, so that will be our developer tool. So for Firefox or anything, there's true that it's a developer. But for Firefox, if you press it like an Alter, and it will pop in the at the top the menu bar. If you go to tools, so I'm not sure, you know, so all the browsers same. I think it should be the same. So if you go to the tool tab and also go to the browser tool, now if you can tap it like a web developer tool, is it the same thing? You can right click it, inspect it, or if you can go to the press Alt key to see the menu, go to the tools, and then if you go to the like a browser tool, that will be web developer tool. So it's the same for all the browser. So even we have a shortcut, you know, so you can use I think shortcut will be, what was that will be Control-Shift-I, but it's the same. So different way to get into the developer tool. So whenever we say like a developer tool, this is this screen. I mean, like, so that's how we are getting into the developer tool. So now, I mean, like, so we have started like from the box. So if you want to really see your box and then you're merging, what we can do is that you use it at the top in the developer tool. We have this arrow. I mean, like, you use this pointer, you know, so you can select any element, or if not, you can use your HTML here. I mean, like, so you can select it using your like a selector here. So if you click it away one, so all the box are rotating. I mean, if you go to the form, you select it, so that form will be selected. If I go and hover it, so now you can see that the form is hover. I mean, so now it's getting our form is selected. And also if you really want it all the way to the top, and then you want to select like a header, so you will go to the header from here, or like I said, you can use the pointer, you can select it, the box. So, and the other thing, I mean, to check the style and the box in our developer tool. So right now it's I mean, I have already shown you know, this is our box model. So I mean, like, if you're not seeing that one, so you maybe go to the computer tab, or it's a different browser, has a different like I mean, like, so the way to get it. So but for me in the Firefox, you have to go to the layout so that you will see. If you're not using like a Firefox, I think you might have to change like changes or computer tab, so that will be all the way bottom. You're gonna see in the computer tab, but for me, I mean, like, so in the Firefox, you're gonna see in the layout tab, you know. So now this is the box that we are talking about. I mean, today we learn it like if you measure it, so let's say the width, the red box, if you want the red box, so we started the red will be here, so that will be XXL container. So if I select it, so when I select any element, so this box value are changing. I mean, like, if you take note, so now it's a 1034. If I go back to my XXL, so that will be 10X04748. So now let's say, I mean, like, so we have this like the big red box, we set it into the like 1200 pixels. But I mean, like, so now 1200 is it's back to my like a Figma. So the 1200 is starting from the like I mean, like, so all the way from this like a border edge, you know. So this will be from here to the whole box that's measured. So it's the same thing in the like I mean, like, if you like hover it, the XXL, the box will be, so our border is a 20 pixel, and also our padding is a 40 pixel. If you add it to my 1080 pixel, so that will be 1080, and then that will be 1100, and then 40, 1000. I mean, like I mean, like, so 20. So if you like add it up to the left and right, so that will be 1200. So let's say if you add it like 2040, that will be 80. 2040, that will be 160. Now, so that will be padding value and then border value, and now you're gonna have this 1200 exactly the same. Sometimes it's a little bit close value, you know. So that is how it is calculated. You can double check it, but the original content size will be 1080. Here you can see that this is my original content. So, and also the same as a header, if you measure the header size will be stay as a 1080 because we have this padding. So I mean, like, right now padding is a 0, but we have other padding for my header. If you go to the like I mean, like, so right now it's a padding 0, you know. So I mean, like, so the like a little bit padding is applying to the H1 and then this class, so that we're gonna see if the padding here. If you're getting, I mean, like, so in my HTML, so I added my like a class specific for my heading. So that's why I mean, like, even if in my developer tool, if I'm selecting the like I mean, a header, I'm not getting. I mean, if I have to select it, the real H1 element, so that I'm gonna head it like this like a value. So now if I see like a 20 will be my padding value. If you mouse over it, you can see that purple like a block pops up, and then also my border width will be 3 pixels, so that will pop up. If you want to change it, I mean, you can change it from the box like a value, you know. If I click it on the 3, now you can change like a 10, you can play around, you know. So that will be left like a border is changed. I mean, like, so if you want to really change it like a like a now 20 pixel. That's the way how to edit as well if you want to use a developer tool, but it will not apply if you refresh your browser. It will remove everything again. I mean, that's how like I mean the developer tool is set up, you know. So you can like a little bit like I mean quick way to review it, quick way to check it. So that's how you can use a developer dev tool. And also here in the like a style, I mean, so this is I mean, like, so if you go to the tab here, so this is where your style are displaying. So now you can see that if I class it, my heading as a color will be black. If I change the color here, if I set it red, it's the same thing. I'm going to see the red. But like I said, if you refresh it, the developer tool will not permanently save your setting. So it's just like a quick way to check it. So if you say the red, so that will be, I don't have to write it like a code in my like a Visual Studio Code, you know. So you want to a little bit like a quick way to quickly, you want to see that some changes, you can use your developer tool to navigate it, to check it, to verify it. So that will be developer tool, guys. Okay, guys, so this is I mean like covering everything. So we have learned the Figma as well. So on the frame, we'll talk about it, everything. So how we can get our margin padding, and also like we talk about it like I mean like different box models so that we can align and then inline, and then so like a block level element. Even the span is the same thing, you know. You can test it out. You use a span tag and then you can test it out. So that will be our tutorial for today, guys. I mean, so if you look it back, my website is now a little bit getting better. So everything moved to the center. So I think I believe you have a little bit something to take away. If you do so, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like it, share it, and I hope to see you in next tutorial.